Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today I'll be talking about fragrances from the brand of Paris Corner. Now recently I've been slacking a bit when it comes to the brand of Paris Corner because I had not added new stuff from them to my collection for a while, but I decided to make that right, and so recently I purchased a few fragrances from Paris Corner, and today I'm going to share my initial thoughts on three of them. Now those three fragrances are not necessarily new to the markets, they're new to my collection, and they don't seem to be that popular. There are not too many videos about them. So today I'm going to share my initial impressions on three scents from the brand of Paris Corner. The first one is called Kaheela Platinum, the next one is called Trillium, and the last one is called Hypnotic Oud Quinze, part of the Nordstock line of fragrances. The first one that I'm going to talk about is called Kaheela Platinum. This one is a fresh type of scent, and in a minute I'll tell you what it's reminding me of. But the original one, I think, at least in my opinion, that has been the inspiration of this fragrance, is a popular fragrance from a very popular designer brand. Now, I'm not going to go over too much about presentation and stuff like that. I'll go over that in a full review at some point in the future. But the bottle has nice heft, it has an interesting design, especially the cap, which looks like a horse head. The bottle size here is an interesting one, it's 85 milliliters, and the concentration is EDP. Now, one thing that all three fragrances have in common, at least from what my initial impressions, is the fact that they have weak sprayers. This is the sprayer of Kaheela Platinum in action. This probably is the best one out of all, but still I think it's a little bit on the weak side. Okay, so the fragrance that this reminds me of quite a lot is, in fact, it reminds me of two fragrances from the same line, original line. The original brand is called Jean Paul Gaultier, and the line is called the Le Beau line. And this fragrance, in a way, is very similar to both Le Beau EDT and the Le Parfum versions. The opening maybe leans a little bit to the Parfum version because it doesn't have the freshness of the OG Le Beau. At least in the opening I get a ton of citruses, a lemon note, a bergamot note, there's quite a bit of a mint note that's quite strong, maybe a bit of lavender, some spices. So it opens up bright and fresh, but not as fresh as the original. I also get quite a bit of a sweetness in the opening of this fragrance. A bit of vanillic sweetness, a bit of amber sweetness. It may be a hint of coconut, not a hint, but the coconut note is not very strong in the opening of this fragrance. From my initial impressions on the dry down of this one, on the dry down it gets a little bit darker, it gets a little bit sweeter, and still to my nose it remains somewhere in the middle between the Parfum version and the EDT versions of the Le Beau fragrances. It's not as fresh as the original Le Beau, but it's not as dark and as sweet as the Parfum version. So it's like a hybrid between the two of them, although on the dry down, the more it dries down, I think the more closer it gets to the Le Parfum version, but still it lacks a bit of the sweetness, it lacks a bit of the strength of the coconut note. But all around, this actually is not a bad scent on its own. If you like coconut based fragrances, if you like the Le Beau line, I think Kaheela Platinum is actually quite a decent alternative to those original fragrances. I cannot talk much about performance yet because those are very initial impressions, but it seems to have, the performance so far seems to be more on the moderate side, but and the projection as well. But again, I'll reserve my judgment when it comes to the performance for my full review at some point in the future when I have more time to spend with this fragrance. The next one that I'm going to talk about will be a Trillium, part of the Emir line of fragrances. Now this one, unlike Kaheela Platinum, actually doesn't hide at all what's been inspired by. If you are into fragrances and you look at the bottle design, you probably already know, or you can safely guess what this has been heavily inspired by. And the inspiration for Trillium is Roja Dove Elysium Parfum. Per Homme, I think it's the full name, or Parfum Cologne Per Homme is the full name of the original fragrance, and this definitely shares you know, a lot of resemblance when it comes to the actual bottle design, especially the bottle design. The important things here: concentration is EDP and the bottle size is 100 milliliters. I'm going to show you the spray in action. This spray seems to be slightly weaker compared to the other one, but again, all three fragrances actually have weak sprays. And the fragrance itself is definitely, you know, very reminiscent of the original one from Roger Dove. If you're not familiar with the original one, it's basically a fresh fragrance that feels maybe a hint aquatic, has quite a bit of fruity sweetness as well, some vetiver, a bit of greenness. It's actually quite a gentleman-y, but at the same time very easy to wear fresh fragrance, super versatile as well. This one opens up in a similar way. You'll get a lot of freshness up top from citruses. There's some grapefruit, there's some bergamot, some lemon, some mint. You get a bit of greenness in this one. Also, you'll get some fruitiness, blackcurrant note and apple note. And then on the dry down, there's a bit of sweetness. There's some vetiver that adds a bit of sort of a green and at the same time earthy nature to the fragrance itself. Maybe a hint of leather. All around, you know, it's quite a complex, especially the original fragrance is quite a complex scent. And this one has also a bit of a soapy vibe on its dry down, especially on the dry down. So it's a blue, fresh and you know, sort of a fruity fragrance with some hints of leather, a bit of greenness and some earthiness as well. All around, it's a sort of a fresh, gentleman-y fragrance that is very easy to wear and at the same time is a very versatile. The original one doesn't have superb performance, and at least from my initial impressions from Trillium, it's pretty much the same. It's more on the moderate side, as you would expect from something that has such a fresh scent profile. But at the same time, again, it's a very versatile fragrance. And the last one that I'm going to talk about will be, of course, Nordstock Hypnotic Oud Quinze. Now, I left this one for last because this is the most challenging fragrance in today's video. The other two are very easy to wear. This one, though, is a little bit more interesting. It's a little bit more challenging. It has a little bit more character. Now, the original fragrance, supposedly, that has been in the inspiration is called Maidan, and it's from the Spirit of Dubai brand. I've never tried the original, so I won't be able to compare this one with the original one. But, you know, when it comes to the bottle design, this probably has the most unique bottle design out of them all, with an interesting looking cap. The bottle size here is 100 milliliters and the concentration is EDP. Again, I'll show you the sprayer in action. This sprayer is actually good, at least this time is sprayed a good amount of juice. And the fragrance itself is an interesting one. It's a very woody fragrance that has quite a bit of spiciness. It feels a little bit balsamic. There's some sweetness in this one. It also has some leather. It has some greenness. You know, it has some tobacco. Some agar oud as well, maybe a bit of musk. It's a quite a complex scent actually, and it's a one for a more seasoned nose. Some people that have been a little bit more tried and tested into the world of fragrances, they'll probably appreciate the way that this fragrance smells. Again, I cannot compare it to the original one, but one fragrance that sort of reminds me of when I smell you know, Quinze, Hypnotic Oud Quinze, is a fragrance from the brand of Afnan, which is called Tobacco Rush, because Tobacco Rush and this fragrance share some of the notes like the leather and the tobacco notes, but the tobacco note and the leather combination in Afnan's Tobacco Rush, they feel a little bit different. The tobacco note is slightly different, the leather is a lot stronger compared to what I get from this one. This is like a similar scent profile, but with a lot of woodiness added to the whole mix. Also a bit of a green touch as well, and the tobacco note in this fragrance feels more on the ashy type. The leather is quite strong, and again it also feels quite balsamic as well. There's not much sweetness. There is some sweetness, but there isn't like a lot of sweetness with this fragrance. And again, I think this is a fragrance that people who have been into the fragrance game for a longer time will probably appreciate, especially the complex is, I don't know how to say it, how complex this fragrance actually is. And I've been quite enjoying this one actually from my initial wearing of it. I cannot talk much about performance, but I think this one will turn out to be the best performer out of all three, simply down to the scent profile and the notes that have been used. This is definitely more of an acquired taste, you know, type of fragrance. And just a few final thoughts at the end of the video. Today's first impression video. If I have to choose a fragrance that actually impressed me the most, down to the sheer complexity of the scent itself, it will be the Hypnotic Oud. This is the most unique one from all of them, from all three of them, but definitely it's also the hardest one to wear. It will probably turn out to be the best performer out of all three, but that's to be expected because it has a lot darker notes, a lot stronger notes, the type of notes that have been used. The one that impressed me the most when it comes to quality and how easy it is to wear is probably Trillium, because you know, it's a very gentlemanly, fresh type of scent that's super versatile and easy to wear. Kaheela Platinum, I can't say that I've been very impressed with this one, but keep in mind that the Le Beau line from Jean Paul Gaultier is not my favorite one out of them all. So if you enjoy those type of scents that have a strong coconut note, a coconut vibe, that feel very tropical and very summery, then you can definitely check out Kaheela Platinum, because as a scent on its own, it's actually not bad. It's just the scent profile is not my favorite one. So guys, in today's video I shared with you my initial impressions on three fragrances from the brand of Paris Corner that are new to my collection: Kaheela Platinum, Trillium and Hypnotic Oud Quinze. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.